Welcome to Real Reviews, where we take a look at major Hollywood releases and let you know if they're worth your time, money, and patience. I'm your host, Walter Bernaziak, and today we're counting down the top 10 films of 2014, according to yours truly, of course. Last year, I saw 41 films that came out in 2014. Now, I didn't get to see every single film I wanted or all the critically acclaimed movies that were nominated for Oscars and whatnot, but I think my top 10 list is pretty solid, and seeing those films I missed wouldn't have affected my top choices all that much. So without further ado, let's jump into it with number 10. Interstellar. Interstellar was director Christopher Nolan's first film after leaving his monumentally successful Batman franchise. The story here follows Cooper, played by Matthew McConaughey. With our time on Earth coming to an end, a team of explorers undertakes the most important mission in human history, traveling beyond this galaxy to discover whether mankind has a future among the stars. I like this movie a lot, but not as much as many people who absolutely love it. To be honest, this barely cracked the top 10 last year for me. I gave it an 8 when it came out, and the music, visuals, a few performances, and the mind-expanding scope of the story helped this film squeeze in as number 10 for 2014. Number 9, How to Train Your Dragon 2. I actually just saw both this film and its 2010 predecessor a few weeks ago, and I really liked this second one immensely, enough that it earned a spot on this list. The thrilling second chapter of the epic How to Train Your Dragon trilogy returns to the fantastical world of the heroic Viking Hiccup and his faithful dragon Toothless. The inseparable duo must protect the peace and save the future of men and dragons from the power-hungry Drago. I was surprised how emotionally deep this story got in comparison to the first. The animation produced incredible visuals that made me wish I had the opportunity to see this in theaters. It's just a great story with weight that gives us fuller characters than the first and delivers on both humor and great animated action. Number 8, The Imitation Game. This is another film I recently saw, and it's quite the heavy true story. I didn't know really what to expect going in, so this was a nice blind watch for me. Famously leading a motley group of scholars, linguists, chess champions, and intelligence officers, Alan Turing, Benedict Cumberbatch, was credited with cracking the so-called unbreakable codes of Germany's World War II Enigma machine. An intense and haunting portrayal of a brilliant, complicated man, The Imitation Game follows a genius who, under nail-biting pressure, helped to shorten the war and, in turn, save thousands of lives. Cumberbatch in this film is incredible. His depiction of Turing is amazing. The small details and intricacies within the character make this a can't-miss performance. I highly advise checking this one out. Number 7, Gone Girl. Before going to see Gone Girl, I heard so much about it. After initially being somewhat intrigued, I eventually ended up having to see this film in theaters. The hype surrounding it from the audience was too loud to ignore. Directed by David Fincher and based upon the global bestseller by Gillian Flynn, this adaptation unearths the secrets of the heart of a modern marriage. On the occasion of his 5th wedding anniversary, Nick Dunn, Ben Affleck, reports that his beautiful wife, Amy, Rosamund Pike, has gone missing. Under pressure from the police and a growing media frenzy, Nick's portrait of a blissful union begins to crumble. Soon his lies, deceit, and strange behavior have everyone asking the same dark question: did Nick Dunn kill his wife? Boy, did this one keep me guessing. Just when I thought I figured something out, the story throws another curveball that forces you to stay on your toes. Great performances here are not to be ignored as well, with Rosamund Pike being nominated for an Oscar. I'll admit this one took a little bit for me to buy into at first, but once I was hooked, there was no taking my eyes off the screen. A great film with great twists, the positive hype is well deserved. Gone Girl is fantastic. Number 6, The Lego Movie. Everything is awesome! That was in my head for weeks after seeing this film, and I never once got annoyed with it. The Lego Movie is the first ever full-length theatrical Lego adventure. The original 3D computer animated story follows Emmett, Chris Pratt, an ordinary, rules-following, perfectly average Lego minifigure who is mistakenly identified as the most extraordinary person and the key to saving the world. He is drafted into a fellowship of strangers on an epic quest to stop an evil tyrant, a journey for which Emmett is hopelessly and hilariously unprepared. The Lego Movie is my favorite animated film of the year. I wasn't sure what to expect from it, but the Lego Movie's imagination, vast and interesting characters, great humor, fun animation, and genuinely heartfelt story makes it a unique experience that I think everyone, no matter age, gender, or race, can enjoy and relate to in some way. Everything is awesome indeed. Seek this one out and witness the story of a nobody who saved everybody. Number 5. The Hunger Games, Mockingjay, Part 1. In my review of this film, I said that I liked this sequel because it's very different from the first two films. Grim, dreary, and gloomy, Mockingjay Part 1 isn't dark just to be dark, the tone fits the story. Katniss Everdeen, Jennifer Lawrence, is in District 13 after she literally shatters the games forever. Under the leadership of President Cohen, Julianne Moore, and the advice of her trusted friends, Katniss spreads her wings as she fights to save Peeta, Josh Hutcherson, and a nation moved by her courage. This might just be the best Hunger Games yet. I can't wait to see how they close out the film series with the final installment later this year. Number 4, Birdman, or The Unexpected Virtue of Ignorance. Birdman has several strong reasons why it's a great film. Number 1 is the cast, and number 2 is how this film is shot. Birdman, or The Unexpected Virtue of Ignorance, is a black comedy that tells the story of an actor, Michael Keaton, famous for portraying an iconic superhero as he struggles to mount a Broadway play. In the days leading up to opening night, he battles his ego and attempts to recover his family, his career, and himself. The whole cast is phenomenal in this movie. Michael Keaton, Emma Stone, and Edward Norton lead the pack with wonderful performances. The manner in which Birdman is shot is worth a lot of praise too, because it's as if the entire film is in one take. The amount of work that it took to make the movie look as smooth as it does must be recognized. Swoop on over to see this film wherever you can. It may not be for everybody, but it's impressive to see play out nonetheless. Number 3. Captain America: The Winter Soldier. Captain America: The First Avenger hit theaters in 2011, and I was beyond happy to see how well the character was done right by. Going into the sequel, I was very excited, but even I didn't expect this strong of a follow-up. After the cataclysmic events in New York with his fellow Avengers, Steve Rogers, aka Captain America, Chris Evans, lives in the nation's capital as he tries to adjust to modern times. An attack on a S.H.I.E.L.D. colleague throws Rogers into a web of intrigue that places the whole world at risk. Joining forces with the Black Widow, Scarlett Johansson, and a new ally, the Falcon, Rogers struggles to expose an ever-widening conspiracy, but he and his team soon come up against an unexpected enemy. The Winter Soldier is so good because it's so different from its predecessor, not only because the time period is 70-some-odd years later, but how well Captain America himself is shown adjusting to his new surroundings. This action-packed Marvel Studios film delivered on more than it was expected to, and it has become one of their best films. If you haven't seen this one yet and you're a fan of these movies, you need to go check it out ASAP. Captain America: The Winter Soldier is the real deal. Number 2, Boyhood. This film has received so much praise there isn't much left to say about it. The joys and pitfalls of growing up are seen through the eyes of a child named Mason, L.R. Coltrane, his parents, Patricia Arquette, Ethan Hawke, and his sister, Lorelei Linklater. Vignettes filmed with the same cast over the course of 12 years capture family meals, road trips, birthday parties, graduations, and other important milestones. Songs from Coldplay, Arcade Fire, and other artists capture the time period. The allure of this movie is its gimmick. Watching the same cast age 12 years is more than just an experience, it's reflective. Seeing the technology, culture, and music of the year that's being shown on screen takes you back into that time period with an authenticity that no other film can match because it's not being recreated. It was filmed during that time period. I won't say Boyhood is perfect. It drags on a little too much and the story isn't the most interesting thing in the world. However, it's not supposed to be. Manipulated by nostalgia? Maybe. But Boyhood is something that deserves to be commended, and you should do yourself a favor and go on that 12-year journey with the cast of this film. And my number 1 film of 2014 is Guardians of the Galaxy. I love Guardians of the Galaxy. Love it, love it, love it, love it. An action-packed, epic space adventure, Marvel's Guardians of the Galaxy expands the Marvel Cinematic Universe into the cosmos, where brash adventurer Peter Quill finds himself the object of an unrelenting bounty hunt after stealing a mysterious orb coveted by Ronan, a powerful villain with ambitions that threaten the entire universe. To evade the ever-persistent Ronan, Quill is forced into an uneasy truce with a quartet of disparate misfits. Rocket, a gun-touting raccoon, Groot, a tree-like humanoid, the deadly and enigmatic Gamora, and the revenge-driven Drax the Destroyer. But when Quill discovers the true power of the orb and the menace it poses to the cosmos, he must do his best to rally his ragtag rivals for a last desperate stand with the galaxy's fate in the balance. In my review of Guardians of the Galaxy, I gave it Real Review's first perfect score, a 10, and it deserves that 10, dang it. It's awesome, freaking awesome. It's lighthearted, but has deep moments. It's action-packed, but has quiet, strong character-building scenes. It's Marvel Studios' best film, and one that I never would have anticipated being so good going into it. All ages should get a kick out of this movie, so jam out to Hooked on a Feeling and see this movie again. It's my #1 film of 2014. So what do you think? Agree? Disagree? Tell me what your top 10 movies of 2014 are in the comments below. I'm hoping 2015 is even better for our cinematic adventures. Be on the lookout for more Real Review specials coming soon. Be sure to like us on Facebook and subscribe to our YouTube channel. Remember, if it's not reviewed here, I mean right here, I mean me sitting in this chair, right in front of this camera, it isn't real. I'm Walter Bernasiak, and I will see you, yes you, at the movies.